And we're live. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Play It Painted Live. Hope you guys are having a good Friday evening. We're just going to go ahead and do a little bit more painting. This is a basically a continuation that I was working on Twitch last night. Kind of a weekend project here. Let me show you what we're working on. Oh, please let me do it. Stop it. 1 second, guys. There we go. And I'll show you the Falconers. There's not going to be, may not be the longest stream, but that's good. Uh-oh, it says my stream status is bad. Nani? Yeah, it says it's bad. I don't know. Whatever. We're just gonna paint. We're gonna do our thing. All right, let me shut the door. As soon as I shut the door, we know that the cat will then try to get out of the room. But yeah, so here's where we're at. We started the Falconers last night on Twitch, and we're working through. This is an extremely desaturated color scheme I'm going with here. Lots of really pale blue to white. And let's see what we're going with. We're gonna work right now. We're gonna work on getting some snow effect on the bases. Frelsey is just Frelsey. Frelsey always looks like that. But you can see that's the color scheme. You know, there are, I think, hard to tell if those are, yeah, those look like they're supposed to be ribbons. Like, there are so many belts and tethers and things on these models. Like, it's extremely hard to tell sometimes what is really what here. But yeah, we're painting up a base team, you know, and it's just gonna be a fun little weekend project we're working on right now. We need to I need to find my snow so I can do basing for the snow effect for this thing. So I personally, this is one of my go-tos, is Battlefields. The Army Painter Battlefield snow. I like it way better than the GW snow. GW snow is it's basically just white flock that it's not a very clean white. So I'm not down with that. This is the last time I made snow here out of this little tray. Maybe I have a better tray to do this thing. Just have packaging. Luckily, I always have packaging behind me. Right? So I have these little tubs I can use to. This is it's gonna make a slurry here in this little Aristea tray. And we're gonna make this out of just some Mod Podge. Just Mod Podge in that Battlefield snow, and that's really it. And you just kind of mix it to the consistency that you want. Ooh, that was way too much Mod Podge. So I always end up making gigantic batches of this stuff, but you know, is what it is. If you're just joining us, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting or what you should be painting. Tonight we're going to be working on these Falconers, and again, we're doing them in a winter theme. One of the things that I like to do, this is true of when I'm painting Hunters and when I'm painting Falconers, is I pick a season, or I actually ask the client, pick a season, and then paint them to, in the color scheme of that season. So if it's a fall season, then, whoa, that was a giant mess. Apparently I poured that in the worst possible place. Oh gosh, hold on. Got a bit of a technical issue here. Yeah. Yuck. Good thing you guys can't see what's on camera. I didn't realize that there was a that I poured it right on top of the little hook hole for the retail, you know, to hang on a. Oh, there are words that I need to say, and they're just not. Words aren't coming out right. Suffice it to say, I made a giant mess here. My desk. I'm gonna clean it up at least enough to continue working. Yeah, that should work. Should work. Okay. This is what you get from live streams, man. Live streams are hit and miss, dude. You can end up with like bad stuff, or actually, I kind of want to make a bigger batch than that. Now everybody's taken off. It's just me again. It's okay. What is going on with this Mod Podge? Whoa! Whoa! Okay. There's just giant skins in this Mod Podge. Oh my gosh. You know what? Okay. I'm going to have to throw that out too. What is that? That is also not helping. Okay. Take 3. Let's see. Maybe now I can do, like, every time I pour the Mod Podge out, it just comes out in this like giant puke strain. That's like either not enough or too much. And there's lots of solid. A lot of solid in this Mod Podge. Okay. Now let's take our snow. And like I said, you just kind of add the snow in and you mix it up until it hits the right consistency. And then you apply it. It's pretty simple, fairly simple stuff, but apparently I can't pour Mod Podge out of a container properly, like a proper human being. And you just add as much powder to the glue as you need to kind of make your snow right now. It looks like I could use a little more powder, so we're going to add a little more powder to that. Let me show you what it looks like actually. So see, that's like too much right now. So we're going to add a little bit more, right? Basically, that's kind of the strategy. It's better to start off with too much glue, not enough snow, and then just add enough snow until you start. See that like powdery middle there? That's what you're going for. You want it to clump, or at least that's kind of how I like the snow to look. Is I want it to look kind of clumpy, right? And that consistency is good right there. It's much easier to work with, right? It's not going to run off on you, but it's not so thick that you can't pick it up. Okay, that's pretty good. In fact, use a little bit more. I gotta be careful because I'm like almost perfect with that consistency, right? Almost. Just a little bit more. Should get me there. I don't know. I may even just like do a couple pinches. That's probably good right there. No, let's do one more. See, I'm always overdoing it. Let's do that. Okay. Yeah. That looks great now. That is absolutely perfect. Kind of like cottage cheese. It's what you want. Actually, that makes a lot of sense. If I said, hey, we're going for cottage cheese, then it probably would make more sense to people. Okay. Looking good. And then now, one other thing you should know, or my bit of advice, is when you start applying it, work on the smallest base up to the biggest. And the reason why is the biggest is the easiest to apply. Smallest base, you run the risk of, like in this case, you run the risk of like hitting Minerva's dress. And you don't want to hit Minerva's dress. You can put a little snow on the plant. That's kind of nice. And you're just going to put enough snow there so they know. Like, you don't have much real estate here on this particular base. You just put enough there to let them know, hey, it's still snowing on this model's base as much as it is on everybody else's base. Okay. Even though you don't get to see much of it. That's good. That's about right there. Okay. So again, smallest amount of visible base, and you work your way up to the largest. And in the case of the Falconers, you get quite a big variance there. With Minerva kind of being probably one of the least visible bases in all of Guild Ball. And then all the way up to the flying guys, Icaros and Frelsey, which are some of the biggest, most expansive areas of just raw base that there is. I did just say raw base, kind of like MC Raw Bass and DJ Easy Rock. For those of you classic hip-hop fans. Not a lot of classic hip-hop fans watching right now. Not a lot of classic hip-hop fans watch this show, I don't think. Maybe Blade Wolf. But he's on his honeymoon right now, so we know he's not watching. Or you better not be. You're on your honeymoon, dude. Don't watch me paint. Don't do that. Go enjoy your honeymoon. You do you. Come back and play another game of Guild Ball with me. Alright? Plenty of time for that. So snow there. Next least exposed is going to be this guy, Matagi. This sculpt bugs the crap out of me. It's just, it's too much going on. It's too busy, and you don't actually get to paint the enjoyable parts that you want to paint, right? You want to paint a sinister face on Matagi. You don't get the face. You want to paint you want to paint this bird a little bit better. The detail of the bird is great. The Matagi frustrating model. Rules of this player also frustrating. He's kind of, sadly, he's like the auto drop. Like, he just doesn't make a 6 unless you're playing casually. Hate to say it, but he just doesn't. And people play him locally, but they don't. They can't give me a cogent strategic reason why to take him over anybody else that can kind of do what he does. Main swap outs for Matagi is he's Egret's spot on the team, and you want Egret on the team. Egret is the reliable striker on the team. She's got You sat through the Star Wars holiday special. Did you tell them it's still better than The Last Jedi? Like, that's what I would have said. And watch everybody get mad at me. Boo! I've been like, it's still better than The Last Jedi. People would have been mad at me. You dick, man. Last Jedi had some really strong feminist themes in it, and it it subverted our expectations. Oh man. Everyone agrees they're just as bad, except it's shocking to me that, like, if you know, on I remember like a few months back, they had they announced The Last Jedi, uh, was coming out on Blu-ray, right? And I was like, I don't know, the internet troll in me has to go read the comments. Like I need to go, so I always go read the comments, and it just blows my mind when people like they like tag the names of their friends and like, did you hear, Braden? It's coming out. It's great. It's the best. Oh, it's the best one. The best Star Wars yet. And I read those comments and I'm like, holy shit! What planet are these people from? I don't understand. Like, like on what level of intellect are you operating on? If you, I'm sure it's not sarcasm, dude. I went at Kingdom Con last year. This annoying fucking guy that's kind of, he's somewhat of a big name in the miniature gaming world because he's associated with a bunch of shitty vinyl mats. So he's kind of like the big deal, and people give him like, they kiss his ass and they give him this attention and whatever, right? He's annoying as shit. He was wearing the Last Jedi sweatshirt, and knowing what I know about this guy, we have a history of like not liking each other. I like looked at him and I looked at that sweater and I'm like, that makes sense to me. That makes sense to me that a stupid motherfucker like that would be a fanboy of anything Star Wars, even if it was blatantly bad, like The Last Jedi. Like it was just like his desperate attempt to fit in no matter what. You know what I mean? It's like those people that, oh yeah, I love Doctor Who. If only you understand it. Rick and Morty is the smartest thing on TV, and if you don't like it, you're not a true nerd. People that say shit like that. Oh, Firefly is just so deep, and you can't get it, and you're not a true nerd. This guy, like his attempt to just quote unquote be a true nerd, kind of led him down the rabbit hole there, that he would be wearing the Last Jedi sweatshirt. I laughed out loud. Like I laughed visibly and audibly when I saw that shit. And I was stone ass drunk, so whatever. Maybe I imagined it. Who knows? Who knows? Oh man. No, there are people that does think it's they think these complaints are Russian bots. Oh yeah, I heard about that. Everything that like the hipsters and the social justice warriors don't agree with must be Russian bots. I'm like the most. I think my whole channel is just Russian bot. Then gotta be, gotta be. Cause I disagree with fucking everything they say. So I gotta be. It's gotta be that I'm a Russian bot. All right. I'm gonna Then I'm going to put a little snow on this as well. This is the rough ground that comes with the box. So we're going to put the snow on. Now there's still a little bit of painting I need to do, but I figure let's get the snow on right now because the snow is going to take the longest to dry. Right? Snow takes the longest to dry. All right. Okay. Did you get any gaming today, Nelson? Anything fun? I mean, if you're at CQ, I'm assuming you tried to get some games in. It's not bad. That's not bad. Okay. Okay, I think that's good for now. If I need more snow later, I can add it later. All right. Let's so I have this blue here. I need to highlight the blue. It's looking a little too flat. And then plus this dude's like hammer pants needs more blue ribbons in it or whatever. So I got to do that. Let's do that. Thank you, sir. Glad you are enjoying them. I think these will be fun on the table or just as part of a collection. All right, I'm going to set up a little painting here. All right. So the blue I've been using has been magic blue. And so we're going to base with magic blue, and then I'm going to highlight it up to just kind of, again, kind of keep it sharp. But Rundus needs a little more. He just needs a little more of that blue on his hammer pants. Rundus is one of the better characters on the team. One of the better players on the team. He's going to be one of your main melee damage dealers. So he's the guy, you know, that you send in on a soft target. He's going to be the guy like trying to kill strikers, trying to kill guys with low health tracks. Especially if you're able to get that target in a Harrier, right? Rundus is he's your guy that's going to do the bulk of softening up a target before Divana goes. Divana is going to be your captain, is going to be your finisher. So this guy puts in work. He is on a competitive Falconers list. You do not drop this guy, right? You keep him on the team. The guy that you drop, personally, I think this team is very, very close to competitive. You probably, if you're going to play a 2-2, I think you drop Matagi and then swap in for Egret. And if you don't like Egret, you want to play more of a bash team, you still drop Matagi, and you might put in Vet Hearn in for Matagi. So sadly Matagi is still the drop. Right? He's the guy that most of the time will not make your 6. You know, unless you have some weird wonky plan with him. I think if you're playing a 3-0 Falconers team, then yeah, you do keep Matagi in there. Just to have a 2-8 kick and a guy with a decent amount of speed on the board. So these guys are super clean looking. We're definitely rocking that winter camo, that winter color scheme. Right. Looking pretty good overall. There's some stuff I want to paint here in terms of getting belt buckles down. So the minor guild actually have 12 players. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think the plan is for them to have 12 players. Although I will say I think it's possible that at some point they take a minor guild and upgrade it into a major guild so that it's its own guild, and then it can have 12 players. I think if they're going to do that, it would probably be, it would more than likely end up being the church. I think church has the biggest chance. If Steamforge ever decides, oh yeah, let's turn one of our minor guilds into a major guild, I think the guild that they pick will be church to do that. It makes sense. Because church is kind of, especially if they're considering the fluff reasons, church would be spinning off into its own sort of thing. All right. Okay. Yeah. I still, Itagi's like really cool I like his pose, the pose of him and the Falcon and all that stuff, but the execution isn't very good. You know, like we can't see his face. We can't even see the bird's face. It's annoying. Like it's like a really cool idea. Love the pose, like I said, but why did they sculpt the face like that? That's terrible. Yeah, he is very cool looking, but he is very terrible on the board right now. I think they may I think Steamforge knows that. So I think when the next round of changes come, he'll probably see a buff. Just because I think hunters are going to get nerfed. Notably, the bear will get nerfed. And I think to make up for it, they'll buff Matagi. So Matagi will be worth taking. In hunters, though. I don't know that they'll buff him to where he's worth taking in Falconers. I think they'll buff him to where he's worth taking in hunters. And I think they're gonna nerf Cena, and I think they will nerf Chaska too. And then they're gonna buff him, and I don't know, maybe they buff Ulfer? I don't know. That's a tough one. But yeah, Cena's a little over the top right now, so I can totally see them nerfing Cena and nerfing Chaska, because those two characters are over the top. They're a little too strong. Yeah, like this. I get that the bird has to have like the blinders on, but it wouldn't if it's like combat ready like this. Like he looks like he's about to go into combat with his bird. So why would he keep the blinders on it? It's just weird. They just took away the best. They did the pose, and the pose is awesome, and then they took away the best things for you to paint, notably his face and the bird. The bird just doesn't paint well based on the weird sculpt of its face and other crap. Okay. So now I need a highlight color on the bright blue. And it's got to be it's just going to be a really minor edge highlight so that your focus is still where it needs to be on the model. Probably just do this sky blue. This is fine. Matagi's recent short. Well, Yeah, 10 health, defense 5, pretty bad. There are a few other characters in the game that are like that, but I think they're on teams where it's easier to protect them, right? For example, Harmony. Oh, Harmony has defense 5, 10 health. Well, she's on Masons. Masons have all kinds of beef that they can put in between you and Harmony to protect Harmony. They also have you also have Brick, who sucks this season, but if you wanted to take him, he does put Harmony into a 5-1 defense, which is pretty solid. Problem with Matagi is that there are people on the team that do things better than that flat out do things better than him. The one of the things people got excited about with Matagi was like, oh my gosh, he has a ranged tackle because you can attack from 6 inches away, and it's true. You can attack from 6 inches away, but it's the tackle is out on 3. He's attack 5. Very low odds that he actually pulls it off. Yeah, Falconers are pretty low on health. That's common for minor guilds. Minor guilds are squishier than other guilds. That said, this guild gives my alchemists fits. They operate in that same range that alchemists do, and their burst damage is better and more reliable. Not to mention, Divana has a better legendary than Midas. So there's that. Actually, her legendary is actually better than Midas's and Smoke's. Because it's like a combination of both of their, 3 damage snare. Yeah. The tackle on 3, it's a trap. You will never get that tackle out on 3. And if you did, it means you have crowd outs on the ball carrier for the other side. It means if you have crowd outs on the ball carrier for the other side, you're in position to just kill the ball carrier. So why not do that instead of activating this guy to come extract the ball, maybe, and then run off and kick a 2-8 kick, right? You could have Egret in that exact same scenario, and Egret can do it and give poison and swift strikes and kick 3-8. So he'll always lose his job to Egret. Yeah. Although I will say this, Nelson, once you get really comfortable with butchers, moving to a team like this is not hard. It's not going to be hard. Because they can burst, they can burst like the butchers burst, but it's harder to set up, and it's not nearly as much like damage potential. Although this lady here that I'm painting, Divana, she can really pour damage out when she's set up. It's a good first turn setup to kind of play, when you're playing Falconers. It's a good, one of the things I see people doing a lot of times is they'll play that first turn kind of trying to set up for a late Divana activation, and then just, setting it up to where Divana is just going to one round somebody at the end of the turn. They put out a bunch of Harriers. They get Frelsey in a position to assist. So then they stack all this damage on a target, and then the end of the round is just watching Divana come up and just blow up that target. That's one common thing I see Falconers players doing, is they'll play for that. When I was playing Falconers, I played it totally different. I played for like early goals with Icarus, and then used the following turns to try to set up a takeout or two. But my ball game with them was so dominant that I would ended up just playing games where I'm just trying to score 3 goals because I set up the team really for ball play instead of takeouts. But ideally, I think the Falconers you want to play 2 goals, 2 takeouts with this team, and your goals are going to come from you'll get one from Egret. The second goal is just going to kind of depend on who's around. You could even get the second goal from Divana. Probably you want to get it from Frelsey. You probably want the mascot to score a goal, right? And then have everybody else kind of focused on takeouts. So the team is just this box, but I would say swap in Egret for Matagi. I think that's really the best way to play it. If you want to play the balanced way, like a balanced attack. Yeah, the mascot has that's one of the Frelsey is one of the best mascots in the game, right? Frelsey has great stats, uh, and you can get Frelsey into and out of plays. Frelsey's gonna have, if you're doing everything right, Frelsey should have 2 or 3 really good activations, but almost never you almost never put more than, say, Frelsey's usually a 0 to 1 influence piece. Like Frelsey's very efficient, so you probably don't need to. Yeah, it's that's atypical. A lot of mascots have terrible stats, but some of the best mascots in the game are for minor guilds. So Frelsey is one of the best mascots in the game, and then the Order mascot, Pride, that lion, also one of the best mascots in the game. Fantastic stats on that piece as well. Uh, so yeah, Frelsey's just great, and I think a lot of success of Falconers players is being able to keep Frelsey in the right part of the action, and then also knowing when to activate Frelsey. Right. Ideally, Frelsey should be activating kind of in the middle of a turn, and then preferably after your target for takeout has been identified and activated. Right. So like if you wanted to take out Boiler, for example, you're playing against Butchers, you want to take out Boiler. Ideally, as once Boiler activates, activate Frelsey and just fly Frelsey into a position to engage Boiler or get close enough to where you could snap back Frelsey into position with Boiler. That's what you're trying to do with Frelsey on takeout turns. And then when you're not, when Frelsey is not in the play, Frelsey should be as close to the goal as possible, because then you're looking for Divana to airmail to Frelsey and then having Frelsey kick a goal at the end of a turn. Right? Frelsey is just great and should be actively included in your plan for winning the game. A little bit of highlight here. So I recorded that game I had with Aaron, engineers versus blacksmiths, and it's one of the better games I think I've recorded because it runs about 90 minutes, but there's a lot of learnings from that game. Like there's a lot of stuff that I learned about engineers. There's a lot of stuff that uh, that Aaron learned about blacksmiths, and so I'm wondering, like I'm trying to decide if I want to either just upload the game as is, and then just so people can watch it. You know, if you sit through a 90-minute game, or the other idea is to speed up the footage and do it old school style where I'm doing voiceover on the game. And the major advantage there is that if I do commentary on it, it's commentary videos are better for new players to learn from, right? Because then you get to get into somebody's head, you get the thoughts, the thought process, why they did what they did, why they're picking influence and players the way they are. So I may do that. Employed good teacher, very patient, understanding with players. Yeah. No, yeah, Aaron's another great person to learn the game from. And you learn big ideas. Did I just not it's like I painted his eyes in, but you could barely see the other one. There we go. That's better. Instead of just, yeah, it's true. Yeah, there's other guys in our meta that don't know how to pull back. Like they don't know how to throttle back and let people learn how to play. God, there's really not much to do on this guy. Let's highlight here. Mr. Steampunk guy. All right. Anything else we need to do here? I like that guy's his whole scheme is so desaturated. I don't know. Maybe this bird needs to be warmer. Try to get a little more detail on this bird. It's supposed to be like a grayish bird, so maybe if I... Alright, I'm going for more of a true falcon, like a gray falcon. I think that looks okay, actually. Right, I don't want to overdo it. Yeah. I think he looks okay. Okay. For some reason, I prefer egret better than Vethern, but I feel like that's not a no. It's no. I don't think so. I don't think that's a wrong call. It depends. It just depends on your style of play, right? You have to. One of the things you have to think about is, are you going to play aggressive and towards the enemy, or would you prefer to block up and play in your own backfield? And with Falconers, I think you want to play a little more aggressive, right? Because all of their damage is within the operating range of 0 to 6 inches from the enemy. So also Vethern isn't the best. I mean, he's a decent tank for Falconers, but I just don't think they need it. I think with Falconers you play to your strengths and you play for a faster, more aggressive game. And yeah, the low health tracks is going to be a little bit of a struggle, but that's, I don't know. It doesn't really affect me that much because I'm used to it with Alchemist. Like if you look at Alchemist player health tracks, they're super low too. Okay. I need to ask you a question here. As far as the base, the lip of the base is concerned, I'm inclined to paint them that Falconer green. But you could overrule me and say no, black or paint it another color. Like, what color do you want the lip of the base here? Because let's just get that figured out right now. I'll wait. I'll drink a little sip of this. Like, we could paint it black. We could paint it Falconer green. I could paint it blue, but that wouldn't. I think that would be really misleading. Tell you what, let's paint it green. And if we don't like it, we'll come back, paint it black. Easier to go from green to black than black to green. So let's do that. Man, I do not know how many Falconers teams I've painted since the Falconers came out. Probably 5. Probably 5 teams. I don't remember. Yeah, that's the idea, right? We want it to match so they could tell, oh yeah, that they're the Hunters Minor Guild. And this will definitely call that out for people. And this will absolutely not be the last time I paint Falconers. It'll be the last Falconers team I paint this year, but I will be painting another Falconers team at some point. Probably not for a while, though. I need a little bit of break from the Falconers. But they're fun. Looks like I may need to do 2 coats of this color. To get to really stay on there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do 2 coats. It's okay. 2 coats is fine. Yeah, this is a fun little weekend project. Just knock out some Falconers. If you're available tomorrow, we can get in a game, and I can give you a few pointers on this team. If you want, I could play this team against your butchers, so you can see how both of the teams work. Or we could run it the other way. Or you could just run this team and I'll play Alchemists or Engineers again. I like that pretty much all teams from where I'm sitting, pretty much all teams are fun to play in Guild Ball. There's something fun about every single team. I like that. So, so yeah, I mean, I'll just play if I'm playing this team tomorrow, I'll just play this team. I won't even put Egret in. And you can just see how kind of like how the team operates natively without Egret. Because it's still a solid team without Egret. It's just I think it's better. It's optimal to run Egret in the team. But we'll figure out some ways to make Matagi work. Hopefully. Or I'll just won't involve him in the play much. Actually, I mean, it's still, let's see, what do you still have? 1, 2, 3. Do you have 4 sources of Harrier on this team? I think you might. All right. Yeah, this is their ball. Their ball is a bunny. Super mean, huh? They just have a bunny as their ball. Yeah, it is kind of messed up. Their goalpost, I'm not the biggest fan of. It's okay. Did you see that? I painted an owl bear for Nathan for his so he could use it as a hunter's goal or a falconer's goal. I like that better. It's just an owl bear. Like that's cool. You could just it's a bear, so you could use it for hunters. It's also an owl, so you could use it for falconers. And that owl bear sculpt is just a super cool sculpt. Yeah, I'm gonna need 2 coats on these. All right. And then I keep the little painter's tape on until after they're sealed. And I'll pull them off. Oh, I need to find something. Let's get the base lips done. Yeah, I had this idea. I don't know if I'm actually going to have time to do it, but what I want to do with that last game, engineers versus blacksmiths, is I kind of want to run commentary over it that gets a little more in depth. Why we chose the players we chose, what our first turn goals are, the keys to winning for each player. What are, for example, what are the blacksmith's keys to winning, right? And I was like, well, for the blacksmith's lineup, you want to you want to exploit your 2-inch melee. You want to get people. You want to get me to commit to a scrum and get trapped in a scrum, and then you want to use ferrite to shut down my strikers, right? And I was like, okay, well, on the engineer side, what are we trying to do? We're trying to spread the ball out and around. We need to take advantage of our ranged damage plays, really hammer that home. against the Blacksmiths who don't have really any decent ranged plays, and then try to dominate the scoring side and then be very opportunistic about takeouts. Kind of get a little bit more into the heads of the players and the goals and that kind of thing. That icy winter look. Yeah, they're pretty wintry. Let's go with our second coat here. Well, I'm glad you're liking them. And yeah, it's a fun team to play. Andrew has been playing Falconers this season. Mark has been playing Falconers. And then you'll see like Jeff breaks him out. Even Leon plays Falconers. I played Falconers for half a tournament and a couple other games. I think they can be very fun. I mean, the hood is cool. I just wish Devonna didn't have a hood covering her head. I wish she had a paintable face. That would have made me a little happier. Well, she's alright. She's cool. And 2 coats of the green. Looks like it's going to just take care of that. Yeah, I've been enjoying season 4. I think, I don't know. I think engineers are becoming the breakout for me. They're becoming a really fun team. I really appreciate the fact that they have 2 extremely viable captains that you can pick depending on what scenario you're going into. And I think Ballista is every bit as good as Pinvice, and definitely better in some situations than Pinvice. It's not my ideal playstyle, but it's very effective. And if you're playing in a tournament and you're going against certain teams, Ballista is a very good choice. I would say it's a great choice into blacksmiths, farmers, probably butchers, definitely brewers. You take Pinvice in, and I mean not Pinvice, Ballista, and then you take Pinvice into a lot of the other matchups, like morticians. I think you take her into hunters. I think you take her into hunters, union. So there's a good thought process there. I honestly don't know if that's true for butchers, right? For me, it's butchers. The captain choice, I think, is more personal preference than anything. Because both captains, I think, they rate pretty similar in terms of whatever matchup they're going into. I do think that I feel like Ox is the more reliable captain, but Filet is very fun and exciting to play and capable of some really, really strong wins. Okay. So I give this a minute to dry. I like misplaced some yellow ink the other day, and I'm going to try to find it, which is fine. So I need to give those bases plenty of time to dry. So even though the models themselves are very wintry, you can tell from the base color what guild they are. Just putting my brush away. Okay. All right. So let's go have a look for my yellow ink. Come on, people. What did I do with it? I just used it. Yellow ink. I will find you, yellow ink. Like, how do I lose stuff like that? Do I just leave it on the side of the road somewhere? Or? But I actually do use a surprising amount of yellow ink. I really do not see it here. I know what I'll do. I'm going to pull all the inks out till I find it. It's a P3 ink. Here's all those P3 inks so far. Let's just pull them all out. There's purple, brown, red, Cossite Flesh Wash. Where are the rest of my inks? There's another Flesh Wash. Armor Wash, brown, blue, turquoise, turquoise. I don't see it, man. I don't see my ink. I'm not frustrated. Let's try in here. An Armor Wash. I think there is a very small chance I ran out of it. Very small chance of that. Did I run out? Just never replenished it. I don't know. Let's see it. Let's put that away. There's orange. That's wild. I gotta remind myself tomorrow when I'm at CQ. And I need yellow ink. Really? Oh, wait. I think I found it. Ah, I did find it. Okay, good. Need that yellow ink. What I'm going to do with it is so minute that no one's going to care. But I'll care because I did it. Right? Oops. That's not it. Okay. So what you do is you take a little yellow ink, a little bit of water. And you just stain the eyes of the owl. Right? And you don't there. And you just wipe off a little bit of it so that the pupil comes back in. And see, that's how you get yellow eyes on owls, on like animals, that kind of stuff. You paint it like a normal eye, and then you just go back in and do it. And it works pretty well. Okay. So now, I think we're looking pretty good. All I have to do now is seal these bad boys up. Put this away. They can seal them up, and then I can pull the painter's tape off. Let them dry on my desk overnight, and then tomorrow I put them back in the box. Nice little display for you, and then you can enjoy the Falconers. Fun team. And then I think this week I'll probably, depends if I get my Guild Ball stuff in the mail. Depends. I'll probably paint some more Guild Ball this week. If not, I may paint Chris's new Court of Owl stuff. Might be working on that. That could be fun too. All right. So a little satin varnish. And this is just well, yeah. Chris's stuff is just gonna be a giant batch paint. Like we talked about it. And I'm like, yeah, this is a bigger submission than usual, but we need to do it all at once because the Court of Owls are all about the same. So it's just gonna be a giant batch paint. That should look great when they're all together. Okay, here we go. Okay. So we start with the bunny. It's a fun ball. And you ruined it. I know they look shiny now. This always flattens down, so don't worry. This always looks good when it's flattened down. You have so many Guild Ball teams. You should have your own mini tournament where people play your Guild Ball teams. All right. You have a lot of cool teams, though. One of the cool things about this game is all the pieces do look really good. So you can just collect it, but, you know, only play a couple of your teams. I mean, I don't play all my teams all the time. I haven't played Masons in a while. And they're like one of my favorite teams. And then finally this guy. So like the plastic kits always come with a piece of terrain. So you have some rough ground. Kind of nice. All right. Perfect. And that was all the sealer. That was perfect. It just ended exactly when it needed to. Cool. All right. So these are going to dry on my desk overnight. In the morning, I'll snap some photos of them, throw them back in the box for Nelson, and then we'll meet up at CQ. Like I said, I should be there, probably right at or before noon. And I'm just looking for people to game with. So I'm hoping people show up. I think people will. We'll see. But yeah, that's what we're looking at. I like this color scheme. It's ended up being a little more blue than I thought it would, but the blue and the white really work together, kind of keep it more of a, it still kind of keeps a fairly strong winter theme, especially on Divana. I think Divana, this is probably, as far as the color scheme goes, this has been one of my favorite color schemes specifically for Divana. I think it looks great on her. There's some characters that looks a little bit off on, like this guy, because he's not wearing a shirt. He doesn't look particularly cold, but, he's that much of a badass, maybe he doesn't care. The bird's the bird. Yeah, this guy. Also cool. All right. Okie dokie, people. So that's it, man. Nice and quick, fun little weekend project. Put this feed to a close. I'll take some photos tomorrow. You can check it out on Instagram. But after that, that's what we're going to do. So I want to thank everyone for watching. Have a good night, guys. And yeah, I'll probably be painting tomorrow night as well. Have a good night.